You are one of the few analysts we have that has expertise both on the African continent and the South American continent.
Thanks, Aaron.
Let's move over. You call yourself an expert on the African continent?
Hey, Mbizo, how's my African football knowledge, bro?
It's quite good, my brother. It's quite good. I'm not sure it's on my level, but it's quite good. It's quite good.
Let's talk about South America, though. Neymar and Santos, two names that are incredibly famous, but right now in a really poor moment. Tell me about what's going on over there.
Well, it depends on the perspective, but I think Neymar is struggling with Santos. But Santos, to be fair to Neymar, was struggling before his arrival. And a lot of football proponents down here believe that the struggles are due to the fact that Santos has been playing at a low level for quite a number of years, and that it's an unreasonable expectation for Neymar to be able to raise that bar on his own. While there are others who believe that Neymar simply isn't the player that he used to be, and that it would always be difficult for him to get to the levels that he's supposed to. Obviously, they were drubbed good and proper by Vasco a few days ago, 6-0, with Felipe Coutinho leading that charge. And Neymar was in tears, and people are wondering whether this is the end. Of course, Ancelotti may not think so because he's been included in the preliminary squad for the next international break. So people are really torn about what his capacity is. My personal opinion is that he looks like a player that's in pain. Never mind not being necessarily back to his old level. He just seems like the way he moves, and I'm familiar, by the way, with this because as I age, I feel those pains every time I move on the football pitch. But he just looks like a player who's just in pain, and despite all the treatment and the care in the world, he just doesn't seem to be able to get back to that level that we see, and maybe not adapting his game to release the ball earlier and to be a different kind of player. So his struggles seem to be continuing.
And Mbizo, one last question. Is Ancelotti going to take Neymar to the 2026 World Cup? Yay or nay, Mar?
It's difficult to say. It's difficult to say. I think. It is. I think that he's being brought in now potentially to examine that possibility, to see if he can find a niche in the Brazilian football club in which he's not a protagonist, right? And I think that's going to be key for Neymar, is whether or not he can play for Brazil without being the singular and most important point of attack, especially with his current physical capacity. Especially with the fact that he hasn't played that much football over the last 2 to 3 seasons. And obviously, technically, we know that he's a superb player, probably the best player technically in Brazil, despite his physical challenges. And so I think that's yet to be seen. I think it's complicated for Ancelotti, again, because is Neymar the kind of player who doesn't mind coming into the club and letting another player be the focus? Can he allow himself to raise the level of Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo and Rafinha and be in the background? Well, that's yet to be seen, and I think Ancelotti wants to test that. If I were him, I probably wouldn't take him.
Oh.